They say every child is a miracle. But Miles wasn't a miracle. He was a paradox, something that should never have existed. He was born on a winter morning in 2005, under a heavy gray sky, as snow fell in slow, deliberate spirals. The wind whispered against the windows of St. Elmo Regional Hospital like it was trying to keep secrets inside. Emma Givens felt like the pain was stretching across lifetimes, and in a way, it was. Miles didn't cry when he was born. He blinked, looked around the room as if trying to remember something that had been lost, and then stared into the doctor's eyes with an expression no newborn should be capable of. The room fell into a chilling silence. One nurse dropped a clipboard. The power flickered. A storm was coming. The Givens' new home was a modest 1970s colonial on the edge of the sleepy town of Rosegrove. Leafless trees surrounded the backyard like silent sentinels. The basement had a cold stone foundation and an old, unused fireplace that gave off a persistent burnt smell. Even without fire, Emma thought it had character. Daniel thought it needed renovation. They painted the nursery pale blue, with little hand-drawn clouds along the ceiling. A mobile of planets spun slowly above the crib. Saturn turned a little faster than the others, as if eager to escape. Miles didn't gurgle or coo. He didn't laugh. At 3 months, he stared at the rotating planets above him with something between disdain and sorrow. By 4 months, he followed his parents' movements like a hawk. When Emma nursed him, she swore his eyes didn't just look at her, they looked through her. At 6 months, he grabbed a pen, not clumsily, but like someone who remembered what a pen was. He didn't scribble, he tapped it against paper, methodically, like he was trying to solve something. Daniel laughed it off. Our little genius. But Emma wasn't laughing. The house had cold spots, places where breath misted and shadows lingered longer than they should. Miles's crib faced a wall where, every night at 3:33 a.m., the baby monitor emitted a soft static hum. No voices, no cries, just static, and the subtle click of Miles turning his head toward the wall. Emma started dreaming of clocks, shattered hourglasses, countdown timers with missing numbers. One morning, Emma found her son had somehow climbed out of his crib. The window was open. Frost crept along the sill, but Miles's body was warm. His tiny hand gripped the curtain rope like a climber. "Why do you do this?" Emma whispered, not expecting an answer. But Miles looked at her and smiled. Emma began journaling obsessively, describing every strange twitch, every unusually coordinated movement. Daniel told her she needed sleep, that she was being paranoid, but paranoia is only irrational until it's proven right. Miles would sit in his high chair, completely still, eyes tracking their arguments like an umpire. He blinked slowly, disapprovingly, when Emma cried. When Daniel punched the wall, Miles let out a sharp, breathy ha, the first sound he ever made. They thought he was laughing. Soon after, Emma insisted the house was haunted. She brought in a local priest. The priest didn't last long. The moment he stepped into the nursery, he froze. Then he turned around and left. Later, he sent an anonymous letter. "The child is not cursed," it read, "but he is not innocent." Miles's first word wasn't mama or dada. It was again. He said it during a thunderstorm, while staring at the flickering screen of an old television playing static. His pediatrician called him precocious. A psychologist called him anomalous. A neurologist said he was a walking miracle of development, though his MRI scans revealed nothing abnormal. He started drawing symbols. Not scribbles, but intricate loops and patterns that resembled circuit diagrams, time notations, and blueprints. When Emma took one to the university, a physicist laughed it off until he looked closer. "Where did your son see these?" he asked. Emma didn't answer. She took the drawing back and never went to the university again. By age 10, Miles had disappeared from the house 5 times. Once, he was found at the town's electrical station, staring at the transformers. Another time, in the restricted archives of the Rosegrove Library, with a book on experimental physics open in front of him. When confronted, he always said the same thing. "I'm trying to get back." Emma begged Daniel to believe something was wrong. Daniel began spending more nights at work. Emma began checking Miles' room every 30 minutes at night. Sometimes he was awake, never surprised, always waiting. At 16, Miles began investing. Stocks, crypto, market trends, every pick was accurate. He turned a $100 birthday gift into tens of thousands within months. Daniel accused him of hacking. Emma thought he was possessed. Miles never denied either. At 17, he legally emancipated himself, moved out, into an apartment near an old satellite communications site. He said it felt familiar. One night, Emma received a text from an unknown number. It simply read, "Basement, look under the stone." She returned to the old house, now abandoned, and went into the basement. Behind the disused fireplace, she pried loose a floorstone. Underneath, blueprints, journals, diagrams of a machine, notes about wormholes, paradox, stabilization, and dates. One date circled over and over, the 3rd of January, 1982, the day a time travel experiment failed in Geneva. The project was buried. The scientists involved? Dead. Except one. At 21, Miles gained access to a decommissioned research facility in the Nevada desert. No guards, no cameras, just dust and echoes. He brought tools, blueprints, confidence. He powered the machine. A ring of polished steel humming with possibility. He pressed the button. Light consumed the room. When he opened his eyes, he was in a hospital room, in pain, screaming, but not with adult lungs, with newborn lungs, and through his blur, he saw Emma's face. Younger, tears of joy in her eyes. She whispered, "Welcome, baby Miles." He wanted to scream, to run, to stop the cycle, but he couldn't. Not yet. The only time machine that ever worked wasn't built of wires or steel. It was built of skin, of memory, of rebirth. A man trapped in a baby's body, forced to relearn everything, waiting for the moment his mind catches up to his knowledge, only to try again. Endlessly. His curse wasn't death. It was repetition, because the past wasn't a place. It was a prison. And Miles was serving a life sentence.